Did you know that there are 4 features on Arccos that they offer on the website that they don't offer in the app? These 4 features are so powerful, it's pretty much what all the PGA professionals get. And for whatever reason, Arccos just doesn't even talk about this and make it known to everybody that you have the ability to do this from your house. You don't have access to this on the app. Let me stress that again. You have to go on the computer and you have to log in to get to these features. So without any further delay, let's hop onto the website and I'm going to show you exactly what these features are and why it's going to be beneficial for your game. Now that we're on the website, I'm going to go ahead and show you hidden feature number 1. We're going to go up to the top right hand corner here and go to the V1 dashboard. Once you get into this dashboard, it's going to break down what your suggested handicap per each subdivision of your game. This is something that the app doesn't give you at all, and I really think this is one of the first places you should look to understand what part of the game you need most improvement on. This is called RE-T for 3, so the fact that it has me at a 12.5 handicap for driving really doesn't surprise me whatsoever, and I'm improving, which is a kind of a scarier thought. And if you click on overall performance, it's going to bring you to this screen where it's going to give you a breakdown of how you play all the holes that you play. I don't get a ton of information out of this, except for right now, I'm over 50% of the holes that I play, I'm getting bogey or double bogey. And it's something that I just need to think about on the course so that I don't make mistakes to creep up into that double bogey range. Hidden feature number 2 on the Arccos website is going to be underneath of the rounds tab. Now, you might say to yourself, I can get all my round data from the app, but this goes way further in depth than the application ever could. To just start out, over on the right-hand side, we have those subdivisions for that round of where your handicap was. I shot an 87 here at Pennsauken, and apparently I putted like a 29 handicap, which is quite disappointing, but it is what it is. This is why you have to be honest with yourself and understand that some days I don't play that well. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to show you even more data inside. So the last time that I played this hole, I got a 9 on hole number 1 with a penalty, and I hit my drive 82 yards. It's kind of nice because it shows you an overall view of how the hole is and where all your shots went. But the really cool feature is that you can click on this whole history. This is going to bring up the last couple of times that you played in 2024, 2025, or just however many, I guess it says I played in the last year. It looks a little bit of a mess, but what you can do is you can toggle some of these on and off and you can kind of understand where you're going. If I had to take a guess and I click toggle all on, I miss this pretty good left and right. There's really nothing here that should be a surprise. But if I look at some of my better scores, keeping it in the fairway was a nice one there. In the trees, bad score. Bad tee shot, bad score. I had a second shot, so at least that one ended up being okay. Hey, look, I parred it from the fairway. Who would have thought? And then I just left myself a little bit further back on that one and just got a penalty. This breaks it down all the way through what your drive was and where your miss was, what your approach yardage is. I think the one thing that I don't like about Arccos when it breaks it down is that if you duff an approach shot, it doesn't count it here. So if I had 137 yards like on this one and I don't put it on the green, I think that one I did. But for this one, right here, here's a good one. So I came up short with my 54 and I ended up using a putter. So it counts my approach as a putter. Kind of a weird thing, but it is what it is. So here's your up and down stats. It's showing that I chipped. I got up and down 0 out of 5 times. My green and reg is 2 out of 7, and I'm averaging 2.29 putts. Really not terrible for how I am as a putter. But as you can see here, it really breaks it down and it shows you exactly where your misses are on the hole. And hey, if I'm hitting the fairway and maybe I lay up a little bit further back and I make sure that I have a second shot, I might get out of here with a par or maybe just a bogey. If I end up in the trees or I end up way left or right, it's kind of all up in the air for there. Hidden feature number 3 on the Arccos website, courses tab. Again, you can look at all the courses that you play on the app, but this breaks it down so much further. Again, you have your subcategory breakdown, and it just shows you how well you play. It shows you how many times that you've played at that course. So we're going to click here on Pennsauken. When you come inside, it's going to give you your average score. It's going to give your driving accuracy, your greens and regs, up and down, your putts. And it also breaks it down by front 9 and back 9 because maybe you're just struggling a little bit more on the front or the back. And that this really allows you to break your game down to the specifics of almost each hole. If I go up here and I click on scorecard, it's going to give me the average of what I do on these holes in the last 10 rounds that I've played. Kind of embarrassing part is in the last 10 rounds, I've had 20 penalties. So I think I can extrapolate where I'm kind of having trouble when it comes to some of these courses, and it's penalties. Surprise. But if you come across here, it's going to give you your average that you get on each of these holes, and it'll give you an average for the whole nine and everything, how the percentage that you're hitting greens and reg, your up and down percentages, are you getting into the sand and getting up and down, and putts. It's really breaks it down and lets you understand what is going on. So like here on hole number 10, I'm averaging almost a double bogey, and I'm hitting the fairway 10% of the time, and I'm getting on the green 0%. God forbid this is handicap hole 1, but I think that I should be able to kind of break it down and maybe concentrate on this the next time that I go out. Next, if you click on the handicap tab, again, it puts in your 20 rounds. Well, it's 16 for this, but it will go up to 20 rounds, and it just tells you kind of where your handicap is when it comes to this course in particular. And then the last tab is just kind of how every round that you've played at this course and what you shot there. See, I've shot as good as 79 and I guess as bad as 98 all in one season. So I do really well at this course. Consistency is key. The fourth hidden feature of the Arccos website is this club tab. Now, you can kind of go on the app and it gives you a little bit of this data and you get to pick and choose and stuff. This is incredible how far down the rabbit hole you can go with some of these stats. So I'm just going to pick a 7-iron. And when you click on it, it's going to tell you exactly what your shots were and were they good, were they bad, were you green and reg. It's just everything about it. It breaks down your dispersion off the tee. My dispersion off the tee is apparently atrocious, but that's okay. That's what we're here to do on all these stats. So again, off the tee, I'm hitting what I'm supposed to 75% of the time. I'm coming up short a little bit. It's just there's so many things that you can break down here. Green and regs are 45.5%. Probably could get that up a little bit. So you can break this down for every single club in your bag, and it just gives you everything that you need. Again, one of the hardest things for Arccos is sometimes to understand what's going on. I mean, I use my pitch and wedge a lot around the greens, and I would assume that this is coming up as a negative, which I really don't understand. It's going to give you your up and down stats, your average to the pin, anything that you could think of. We'll go over to driver and just show you how absolutely atrocious that is. But look at this dispersion chart. I mean, it's just so cool because you can see, oh, well, my average is, it says my dispersion pattern is from 10 yards left of where I'm aiming to 30 yards right. That would be my average dispersion, and I can get 40 yards left, and I can apparently get 55 or 60 yards to the right. So re-tee for 3. That's why they call it that. And actually, one of the cool ones is you can go to your putter here. It shows you your average putts, 1 putts, 2 putts, 3 putts. I have 896 putts on the green. Just such a cool stat. It's just amazing when you can break this down and kind of look at everything, every club specifically, so you know I'm coming up short with my 8-iron a lot. Maybe I need to practice actually making good contact into some of these greens. So that's going to be the 4 features that you don't get on the application that I think when you really start deep diving into your game is going to be so important to help you understand what clubs you need the most work on and how you need to break your game down just that little bit further. So let's hop back out of the website. All right, now that we're back, you've seen everything on the web app. You've seen all 4 features that they offer on the website that they don't offer on the app, and it just gives you almost double, triple the information that you have available at your fingertips from the application itself. If I were you, I would absolutely start implementing all of these features into your pre and post round analysis so that you can become a better golfer. Understanding what your handicap is for all your subcategories on every course that you play is something that you may go into and say, hey, before I play, I need to make sure my driver is perfect, or I need to get these little chips down because the greens are tricky out here. So using that is an essential piece of planning going into every round that you play. The rounds tab is going to allow you to break down all of your shots and all the previous times you've played a particular hole and understand if I end up on the left, I always bogey it. If I end up on the right, I always par it. So you can make good decisions going into rounds, knowing previously what your misses were or where you ended up and what that score exactly was the last time you played. I think this portion of Arccos is just invaluable in the sense that you're never going to remember. You're just going to remember making a birdie. You're just going to remember making a double. You're not going to remember where that ball was and round after round after round if you end up in that same location, what the same result is. Then you have your courses tabs where you can break down your scorecard as if it was a conglomeration of every round that you've ever played, and it can give you your greens and regulations. It can give you your putts. It can give you all of that information all on one screen, all on one scorecard. You may look at it like we did on my 10th hole at Pennsauken, and you might say to yourself, hey, I need to hit the fairway, and I need to try to hit the green on this hole. This is one of my worst holes, and I need to pay a little bit of extra attention when it comes to this hole. And last, we have our club data, breaking down specifically where your misses are, how far right, how far left, just an incredible amount of club information and what you're hitting greens. It's just, you can specifically break down exactly what you need to do on that club on the range next time you go. And you might say to yourself, hey, 50% of the time I'm coming up short with my 8-iron. Let me just choke up to a 7 and make sure that I actually get this ball on the green. I'm telling you, going through all 4 of these and applying these to your game on a regular basis is going to drop your handicap without question. In the future, when the season starts, I'm going to start going over all this data and I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. So please don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to run through everything that I do before I go out on a round and then come back and do a post analysis of exactly what I did during that round and if I was able to keep up with my plan going forward. So those are the 4 hidden features that Arccos has on their website that they do not offer on their application. I really think that going into the future, you'll be better off by using all of these. I appreciate you stopping by. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all those fancy things. I appreciate you. We'll see you in the future.